Afternoon, everybody. This is our first attempt at doing this almost entirely remotely, so please bear with us as we work through the tech. I'm Katrin Owen, the Deputy City Manager for Communications and Engagement. We've got a number of people joining us via Google Hangouts, and we've got some people on the phone as well. The order for this media availability is Adam will speak, then he'll hand off to Pilar, the CEO, Pilar Martinez, the CEO of the Edmonton Public Library, and then we'll go to Q&A, which I will moderate just to make it easier for everybody, and so that I can repeat the questions so that everyone who is joining us can hear the questions. So that's the format. If you're having any difficulty, let us know, and we'll try and resolve your issues ASAP. Over to you, Adam.
Thank you, Katrin, and thank you to our interpreters, Kevin Kolp and Amanda Omath. Hope I got that right. Apologies if I didn't. I want to update you on an important matter that is taking place within administration. For quite some time, we've talked about how COVID-19 is taking a terrible toll on our city, our public health, city services, and the economy. Today it is having an impact on the jobs of 1,600 people. This morning, the city served temporary layoff notices to staff who ordinarily work in recreation centers and public spaces. These are full-time and part-time cashiers, fitness instructors, lifeguards, art and education instructors, arena attendants, city hall tour guides, laborers and booking clerks. Not all staff in the community and recreation facilities branch are affected, however. Many programs are continuing to operate, such as cemetery services, animal care at the zoo, plant care at the Mutart, and basic facility support. Some staff have also been redeployed to other areas, and we thank them for their flexibility. Of the 2,000 staff in the branch, 1,600 have been notified today. Their temporary layoffs start on April 14th. I want to be clear. This is a reflection of an economic and public health reality. It is not a reflection of our staff or the valuable programs they deliver. Our recreation centers are a vital part of the community, and on-site programs make our community happier and healthier. When it is safe to do so, we will resume our recreation programs and we will welcome back our colleagues. We do not know when that will be. This has been a difficult decision. I acknowledge that other governments have asked employees to protect people and jobs as much as possible. We have done our best to live up to the spirit of that call. Staff were extended for a month after the facilities closed, when it was clear what impacts the virus would have. Since then, we've worked to ensure that our staff are eligible for assistance those other governments are providing. Many will qualify for employment insurance or federal emergency assistance. It was important for us to act promptly in order to be able to leverage this assistance from the other orders of government. The city will supplement this income for 8 or 16 weeks, depending on the employee's status. In the end, most employees will receive about 75% of their pay during the layoff period, and they will keep most of their benefits and access to the mental health supports we have at the city. We are doing our best to keep our colleagues in the city fold during this temporary layoff period. They will have access to their emails and the information that we're sharing on a regular basis. The dollars we spend come from Edmonton taxpayers, and we simply cannot sustain full salaries for longer. As a municipality, we are not permitted to run deficits, so we have less flexibility than other orders of government. As you saw in Council's agenda this morning, we are carefully considering the range of financial impacts created by the pandemic. Today's announcement reflects a lot of work with our union partners, and I want to acknowledge their willingness to have difficult conversations and to be flexible and supportive when considering solutions. Allowing redeployment from one job area to another showed a willingness to set aside business as usual. They have been collaborative in difficult circumstances, really adopting the principle that we are all in this together. I would like to reiterate that this has been a difficult decision to make. I know it is the same decision that the businesses and other public organizations across the city are grappling with. And with that in mind, I'd like to invite from Edmonton Public Libraries, Pilar Martinez, the Chief Executive Officer. Pilar?
Thank you, Adam. As Adam mentioned, I'm Pilar Martinez, the CEO of the Edmonton Public Library. EPL has been closely monitoring the developments of COVID-19 over the past several weeks, and we've been working diligently to manage this extraordinary challenge, ensuring the health and safety of our staff and our customers remain the highest priority. As the days go by, it is clear that the duration of the restrictions and measures established by the province of Alberta, the Chief Medical Officer, and the City of Edmonton to reduce the spread of COVID-19 will continue for an extended period of time, and consequently lengthen the closure of Edmonton Public Library service points. As I know you understand, this closure has resulted in a drastic reduction in our services and is taking its toll on our economy locally, provincially, and nationally. As a result, we have had to make the very difficult decision to initiate temporary layoffs. The temporary layoffs affect approximately 75% of Edmonton Public Library staff, or 489 positions across the organization, including management and unionized staff. Like our partner, the City of Edmonton, we are implementing a supplementary unemployment benefit plan that will ensure that our employees receive approximately 75% of their pay during this period, as well as retain their benefits to help lessen the impact. I would like to emphasize, I am incredibly proud of every single staff member's contribution to the Edmonton Public Library and the impact that they make each and every day. And this decision in no way reflects their hard work and dedication to EPL. I would also like to acknowledge our collaborative and valued relationship with both the City of Edmonton and our partner, CSU 52. During this challenging time, we have worked together to address concerns, questions, and issues for our staff. Yesterday, we signed a letter of understanding which outlines several agreed upon terms and conditions to support EPL and our staff as we navigate through this difficult period. We very much appreciate the responsiveness and assistance of our union partner. We made every effort to approach this unprecedented situation by ensuring we support our staff as much as possible while also balancing organizational needs, our economic reality, our financial position, and our fiduciary responsibility as a publicly funded organization. We are all eager to return to our normal lives and normal EPL operations. Timelines, however, are difficult to predict, and I am grateful for your patience as we navigate this ongoing public health crisis. The step each and every one of us takes to adhere to the advice of Alberta Health and the Chief Medical Officer will help us get through this together. I would like to thank EPL staff, our volunteers, our customers, and the broader community for your understanding and support during these unprecedented times. I look forward to having everyone back at EPL as soon as possible.
Thank you, Pilar. And now we'll go to questions. Erin, if I could get you to adjust the screen here so we can see who is there. Got a number of people on the line. Just going to check who's active right now. I have Dustin Cook on the line, I have Natasha Reeb on the line, and I have Jeremy Thompson on the line. Natasha, would you like to go first? You need to unmute if you haven't done so, Natasha.
I can jump in if that's all right.
Go ahead.
CTV.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Hi there. I'm just wondering what, if any, sort of help will you get for paying the salaries of these employees from the federal or provincial governments? We heard that the federal government is going to cover sort of 75% of a number of businesses' payrolls. Are you going to see any of that benefit?
What support will the city get from other orders of government for the financial hit of this? Adam?
Thanks for the question, Jeremy. We are evaluating that on a regular basis. I think today was the announcement from the Prime Minister, so early days in that regard. Certainly if we do see a level of support from the federal or provincial governments, then we would revisit this. But as it stands at this point in time, we don't have the certainty in terms of the scale of that program, the degree of that program, or the applicability of that program. But certainly if it is something that is supportive of the City of Edmonton and our ability to maintain staff, we would revisit the decision that we made today. But at this point in time, we don't have any certainty in terms of the support we would get.
And just a quick follow-up for you there, Adam. You said depending on sort of the status of the employee, you're able to pay, I believe it was 55% of their paycheck for either 2 to 4 months. Is that correct? And what happens after that period for those employees?
So the question is, to what degree are you topping up what would be the employment insurance that would be provided to the employees, and what's the duration? And so our estimate is it's 55% that employee would get from employment insurance, and we're topping that up to 75% through this plan. And in terms of the timeframes, for our permanent staff, it's a period of 16 weeks, and for our provisional or temporary staff, it's a period of 8 weeks.
Thanks, Jeremy. I'm going to go to Vinesh in the room, and then ready yourselves, Dustin and Natasha, if you'd like to ask a question online. Go ahead, Vinesh.
Okay, so Adam, I'll ask a two-part question here. Well, three-part, I guess. So 1,600, is it 1,600 plus 489?
That's correct. 1,600 is exclusive to City of Edmonton operations, and Ms. Martinez identified her number, so it would be the combination of those two.
Okay, so with that, does the city have any initial numbers on how much it will save? Respecting it is temporary, so, do you have a weekly extrapolation, monthly extrapolation? And then part two, do you anticipate any further additional temporary layoffs?
So the question is, do you know what this would save you, and are you contemplating further layoffs? So it's a pretty fluid situation in terms of the financials. We were presenting today to council on some of the budget information. We're hoping to have a clear picture of that by April 15th, which is our timing when we're going to come back with our recommended timing when we're going to come back with our supplementary operating budget adjustment. So we'll have clearer understanding there. And at that time, we'll also be evaluating if we do need to take any further measures from a temporary layoff perspective. At this point in time, we're evaluating. We don't know. But as I said in my opening comments, this is an unprecedented time, and this is extremely tough. But we do have some challenges fiscally that we do need to respond to, so we'll be evaluating that as we come closer to April 15th.
Questions online? Natasha, Dustin?
Hi, Catherine, can you hear me?
Sure can.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was a bit confused there because I had the YouTube playing and it was ahead or behind. Can't remember. I just want to touch on the permanent employees. I think Adam just mentioned we'll get that top up of EI. I think it was permanent employees. Can you confirm that? And that would be for four months.
Adam will review the top-up provisions right now, Natasha.
So the top-up is for both temporary, provisional, and permanent employees, and it's a top-up to 75% of their salary. And the duration is 16 weeks for permanent employees and 8 weeks for provisional or temporary employees.
Okay, yeah, that's what I heard. But I'm also wondering, I just wanted to confirm that, but how did you come up with the 4 months or the 16 weeks for the top-up or the temporary layoff?
So we've been engaged with other municipalities in the country to get an understanding of different measures or treatments that they're taking, and through the hard work of Deputy City Manager Kim Armstrong's team and the assessment across what's happening in the province, we felt this was an appropriate support for our employees, duration of support for our employees going through this difficult time. And as I mentioned earlier, that if there is confirmation in terms of supplemental support from the provincial or federal governments, we would certainly revisit this.
Further questions from our online participants? Dustin, anything? Go ahead, Dustin.
Okay, Adam, can you take us through the redeployment procedure and how that would work? Is there a number for how many city staff have been redeployed? And if there comes a need that there needs to be more, will these, staff who've been temporarily laid off be revisited?
So we've developed a redeployment program or procedure where we assess service levels that we're currently providing in different areas based on the resourcing needs on those service areas. We've been able to establish the difference between the resources required and the resources that are not required. That then goes into a corporate pool, if I could call it that. And through great support from our union partners, we've been able to establish that redeployment can happen across different union agreements. And so we're actively working through that. A good example is the activation of the Expo Center has resulted in redeployment of staff to support that. In terms of numbers, don't have specific numbers at this point in time, but letting folks know that it's an ongoing body of work that we're undertaking to ensure that we're maximizing the use of our employees throughout the organization, regardless of their specific work program, should their skills match another program or service that we're providing. So don't have specific numbers, Dustin, but certainly an ongoing body of work. And when you consider the number of employees that we have, close to 14,000, it's a pretty exhaustive program.
Jeremy, I think you were trying to get in with a question too. Go ahead, please.
It was just going to be about the total number of city employees, which Adam just answered there. But Adam, this is so altogether about roughly 2,000 almost city employees, including the library numbers. And are you anticipating more layoffs in the future here?
So the combination between EPL and the City of Edmonton is 2,000 employees. And in terms of the question related to considering other layoffs, I answered earlier that we'd be coming back to Council on April 15th with a supplementary operating budget adjustment. And the work that we'd be undertaking or have been undertaking and up until then would be assessing if we do need to pursue additional layoffs. And want to emphasize that these are temporary layoffs as a result of the pandemic that we're working through. This is not a reflection on our employees. This is a reflection of the current situation that we're in.
Last couple of questions. Are there any more from our online colleagues or from Vinesh in the room? Vinesh, you have one?
I have two, actually. Adam, can we just get some clarification on the slide and the presentation in council chambers? So 3 scenarios. So if I'm reading the numbers correctly, the city could be in the red potentially between 27.8, 61.1, or 112.3 million, correct?
This is a budget-related question that we're more than happy to address after council this afternoon. If you want to weigh in a little bit, we're going to talk about it in more detail later.
Yeah, we can provide more detail, but yes.
Okay, just to confirm. Okay, and just with that, the new waste management program, is that going to be delayed?
The question is the new waste program going to be delayed? We're assessing that, like many other services that we're providing, but we haven't landed on a specific recommendation yet related to that. So we're assessing, but at this time we don't know.
I don't see any other questions coming from our online participants. Really appreciate you being here this afternoon. We'll be gathering again after council. The mayor will be available online also. We'll look forward to speaking with you then. Thank you very much. Thanks for participating.